answer questions later. So, hey guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in. And we have another episode in Building Empires Network with Jonathan Chacon. And he's going to, talk about how to invest in multifamily and how he was able to come in from California to Houston and build his portfolio up.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Andrea Cruz, Christina Franco.
Hey.
And Jonathan Chacon.
There you go.
Nice. So, Jonathan, tell us a little bit about yourself, of how you started your journey.
So I started educating myself in just real estate for the last, I would say, probably the last 10 years. And I believe that that's like my foundation to knowing real estate is education is the most important thing, because without education, you're going to make a lot of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would always tell my parents and friends about me investing, and they would be like, "You're delusional, you're stupid, you're never gonna do it."
Yeah.
And that's the reality. But until finally I convinced my dad, and he refinanced one of his properties, and he helped me get my first deal, and we went from there. And then
what was your first deal?
It was an 8-unit in Santa Ana, California.
Wow.
We bought it for like $600,000 because over there it's expensive.
Yeah.
And it was all studios. We ended up adding value to it. And it was weird because I didn't know about commercial at that time. I was just like, let's go in, clean it up, raise the rents. And I didn't know that I was actually raising the value of the property.
Yeah.
Right.
I was just doing it just because I thought it was common sense.
Yeah.
Just to go in and really I was doing the work myself. Like I would paint it and clean it and do all the work myself when you first start. And we raised rents from like 600 to 1,000 a month.
Wow.
And
that's really good.
So we ended up
good.
raising the value. I think they appraised it at like 1.3 million. And then we cashed out. And then I used that money to buy another property in Las Vegas. Because there was no deals there in Cali. So I went to Vegas and I found some property on LoopNet and I bought it for like I think it was $360 for a 10-unit.
Wow.
It was like free,
Yeah.
And then I ended up working. I ended up working on it myself. Going to Cali. Going to Vegas and driving back home, and I would sleep there and go back, and and then there was no deals anymore again.
Right.
So I finished that project. And I was still in hard money when I started doing business in Houston. One of my cousins invited me out to Houston to come hang out. I came out here and I had already I started talking to wholesalers on Facebook Marketplace, or I don't remember what Facebook group. I came down here and I ended up buying a house.
Nice.
And so yeah.
He took one from my son. He took a what was it?
5-unit.
5-unit. And he was like, well, that's why you got to file a memorandum. And here comes my son, Mom. I said, you got to file a memorandum, son.
Well, that
Well.
was luck. That was kind of luck. That happened by luck.
Yeah, it was back and forth, but he did good. So he's on his feet. He's planted. He's grounded. He came here with that energy, and there he goes.
Yeah,
keep going.
That's what it is. It's energy. It's really just actually putting action into it.
Yeah,
because a lot of people just talk and they don't do anything.
No,
they sit around and wait for an opportunity to come to them. But in reality, is you have to go out and look for it. You got to be hunting all day long, every day.
Yeah,
and that's the reality. But anyway, so I ended up selling that property in Vegas, and that's what kind of got me the money to start here in Houston. And 6 months later, I sold it for I think $640,000.
That's good.
And then I brought that money, I 1031 exchanged it to a bunch of property here, and I ended up. I don't know if this is kind of like a little trick that I did. I ended up buying one house cash from the 1031 exchange proceeds, and then I cashed out, refinance it, for I can get the money back.
Right.
That way, it's tax-free money.
Right.
I didn't pay taxes on none of the money.
There you go.
So instead of me paying
$100,000
in taxes, I paid nothing because that's how I was able to do it.
And that's where you come into good debt.
Exactly.
Good debt.
I had debt, and obviously a renter was paying for the debt, so it wasn't a big deal. And then I used that money, the money that I got from the cash out, I started flipping houses, and then I met Boris. And then Boris is the one that introduced me to the no money down buying commercial real estate. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Because my first 2 deals, I was putting 20% down.
Yeah.
And mostly when you start, you have to put money down.
You have to put money down.
And then until you get to know the right people and they start introducing you to no money down lenders, and then they start seeing your performance and your track record, and they start seeing that you're real and that you're going to get stuff done. And that's when the lenders just started rolling in like, hey, we'll lend to you 100%, no money down. I even have some lenders who lend me with no payments for the first 4 months because they believe in
what
me.
lenders are those?
Can't disclose that.
Okay,
now you guys know them.
She'll get it.
You guys already know them. But anyways, yeah, that's how I started my journey, and I've been buying. We're closing on a 32 unit.
They're on fire.
Yeah.
And we bought a 12 unit last week, like a week and a half ago. And what I'm doing right now is I'm selling my single family, all the houses that I bought when I first came out here. Actually, the first house that I bought, I just sold it like 3 weeks ago, and we're 1031 exchanging into the 32 unit. So we're moving our money. If it has over 100,000 in equity, we're selling them and then moving them to bigger projects.
Right. And how are you doing? Are you doing land?
I did buy land, but we already flipped it. So I appreciate it so much. We're like, sell it.
Yeah.
We sold it. I think right now is a great time to sell.
Yeah, it is.
We're trying to sell as much as we can and do what I told you, cost segregation.
Right.
To be able to hold the money, because we feel like there's going to be a correction. There has to be something that's going to happen soon, and we want to be ready with the opportunity.
I like what he just said. It's not a crash. You said a correction.
I don't think it's going to be a crash. I don't think
No,
so.
see, I like that. That's a positive mentality, because a lot of people stop buying, stop investing, but they're still in the loop, but not making the moves that are necessary, because this is the time back in the day that I actually grew. Because especially if you're young, you don't have 5 kids running around and house and mortgage. Well, you do. But if you don't have that, this is your time.
Yep,
this is your time.
People understand that. And this is your time to actually start building relationships with lenders, with people who are getting deals, because when the deals start coming in, it's going to bring in so much opportunity. And that happened to us in the pandemic. During the pandemic, she sold me a 19 unit and nobody wanted to finance it. Nobody wanted to finance it. But if you have relationships with lenders, they're going to lend you.
It was a nightmare too.
Remember? It was hard.
There was not a lot of lenders, that were actually lending. So he was like, hey, I got a lender. Like, oh, no. And then, I get another one. But it was a tough time to close a deal.
It was, because everybody was scared, and all non-QM lending had dried up. Even like commercial financing had dried up. So it was a weird time for me, even because I was refinancing. I believe it was a package of 40 units, and the lender backed out. When the pandemic hit, he backed out, and then I literally had to sell that. I had to refinance that property to buy your property, and I had to sell that first deal that I sold in California. I sold that property in Cali.
He was selling everything.
I was selling everything to just like to keep afloat.
Right.
Yeah.
Because and that's another reason why we're selling right now.
Yeah.
Right now that it's hot, to put money in the bank for when the bad time comes. We're ready for the new opportunities. But back to what I was saying, the pandemic hit, and we ended up getting a bunch of deals. We got so many deals from owners that they didn't want to evict people. They were scared to evict people. And we were like, hey, we're not scared. Send it to us. And we were buying and buying and buying property. And I think when the pandemic started, I only had maybe 70 units. Right now we're at like 220.
Nice.
So we have more than doubled in like the last 2.5 years. So that
really
created
good.
opportunity for us. It wasn't like people see it like, oh my God, the world's gonna end. But no, that's actually good for us investors, because like you're opportunity is somebody's loss. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's the way the world works.
But I mean, you help them out in different ways because
Yeah.
there's some people that need to get out of it.
or they don't
Yeah.
want to deal with it.
Mhm.
And a lot of owners don't want to deal with the headaches. And
Yeah.
I see it sometimes. I feel like that. Like the other day, we had like I think 4 people leave, and then we had 4 inspections fail from Section 8, and then we had somebody stole an AC, someone stole a stove, someone stole this, and then we're like, oh
That
my
must be in the
god,
cash
like,
garden.
Mhm.
let me just like
Yeah.
call Andrea to buy my whole portfolio and let her
Oh,
handle it.
Why you call me?
But no, but in reality is that's how you feel sometimes. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure you feel the same way.
Oh yeah.
And but the people who make the most money are the ones who deal with problems and they know how to handle bad situations and make them into great situations.
Right.
And for me, that's where Reef thrive because we're like, all right, we're in a bad situation. Next months, we're gonna be like, all right, it wasn't that bad.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you just kind of have to go through those
It is.
2 or 3 bad months, and then you're gonna see like the light. But
Right.
a lot of people they just give up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they
And I think that's like in anything you do too, because I mean, even just other stuff, you feel like, oh damn, this is going on, but you just kind of have to hang in the tide and like don't let go.
Mhm.
And I think that's normal in anything you do. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have your bad times, good times, bad. Like it's like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
yes,
Just pick up your hands and enjoy the ride.
yes, it's true, 100%. And you know that's where I've been at in this business, and
Mhm.
we're right now, like I said, we're trying to sell, and at the same time we're buying.
Right.
So we're kind of like shuffling the cards around, and I
Mhm.
feel like that's a lot of people. They get caught up with the gurus that buy everything and hold it for the rest of your life, and
Mhm.
it's not like that. I feel like you have to let go of properties. If I didn't sell a property in Vegas and made that money, I wouldn't have had the capital to continue
Well,
to
you
grow.
doubled up.
Right.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Yeah.
And if I sell like right now,
And that's gonna build equity too. So it's
100%.
not like you're losing.
and if you're buying added value deal, let's say you buy an added value deal where you have like 150, 200,000 in equity, and then you sell it 2 or 3 years later, you're gonna have that liquidity towards.
I mean, I think that's
Yours.
really
Yeah.
smart because you literally sold a single family to
Mhm.
buy some
32
units.
units.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I think that's very smart.
It's gonna have over $1 million in equity.
It's
So
like
that's
you're buying-
common
It's
sense.
like,
Yeah.
but see, but people won't do that because they're thinking in their mindset, like you said, don't let go of this property. You know, just keep.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So they lose an
Mm-mm.
opportunity because they're hanging on to something else. You know.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's smart what you said. Like, hey, sell those properties. It's kind of like you're buying equity. You know.
Right.
Like,
Exactly, and I'm taking the equity out of a deal. I'm getting the 100 and something thousand that we got, and I'm moving it to a bigger deal where I'm going from 100 to $1 million.
Yeah.
That's common sense. Like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't I do that?
Mhm.
And you know, a lot of people, my parents were the same. They bought property and held it for like 20 years, 30
Yeah.
years. They still hold it, but it's not for everybody. This is not
Right.
for everybody because
Mhm.
it's a lot of work. It's ton of stress and headaches. And right now we're selling one headache to get 32 more headaches. So it's like, you know, some people would choose to just stay with that one headache,
Right.
but they're not going to be able to grow like that.
Yeah.
You have to deal with headaches to be able to make a lot of money.
Right.
If you want to make millions, you got to produce.
You gotta
You have to be that.
You have to
badass.
get $1 million headaches.
Yeah, you do. That's
mean,
the
it's
reality,
the truth.
though. If you think about it,
Yeah.
I'm
It
pretty
is
sure
the
you
truth.
and your business,
Yeah.
you have so many headaches all
But
day long.
even
yeah.
other things that you do that don't provide that still give you headaches. Why
Yeah.
not get it something that you're gonna get value
Yeah.
from?
Yeah, even like they say, like even like a day laborer, a guy that's day laborer, he has to go and deal with stuff every day. He has to
Mhm.
deal with a boss. He has to deal with, you know, going home with his family. And I'd rather be well off
Yeah. Yeah.
and have money than be like working for a day.
Yeah.
You know, like I'd rather have a big headache than have. I like
the same amount of headache, but it's not producing anything.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
That makes
yeah,
sense.
I don't know what else you guys want me to talk about.
But so what made you just start straight to multifamily and not single family?
so I was looking at
Yeah,
deals.
why not?
Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense. It makes
No,
sense.
the reason why-
But like for example, you know, say with people that are getting started, you know, it's like, well, why should I go this route instead of this route? So,
Yeah.
Well, I figured My biggest issue.
Why
is
not
like,
go straight with the big headaches?
No, well, it's not the big headache. It's like this. So if I raise rent on 8 people, which was it was an 8 unit, right? Versus one house. So in Cali, I had the option to buy. The houses there were like, well, at the time that I bought, like 500,000, right?
Yeah.
And then that payment was not going to cover
Right.
that mortgage. I mean, the income of the property wasn't going to cover the mortgage. So then I seen this property, and it was like, I don't remember the exact price, but it was like 600,000 for 8 units.
Mhm.
So if one person leaves, I still was paying the bills.
Right.
Versus
I see
$500,000 house, one person leaves,
Right.
I'm gonna lose my ass off. I'm gonna have to be paying that mortgage, $1,500, $2,000 a month.
Mhm.
Versus the same thing with my houses. My
Right.
houses, I have one person leaves, it's one dimensional. I'm
Right.
screwed. If they
Yeah.
leave, I have to pay that $1,000 a month out of my pocket.
Right.
And versus a multifamily, it has, let's say you buy a 10 unit, one person leaves, you're still paying the bills. 2 people leave, you're still paying the bills. 3 people leaves, you're still paying the bills. 7 people are still paying the bill.
Yeah.
So
Right.
in like a month and a half, you can fill those back up, and now you're profitable again.
Right. Right.
Versus one house, and usually houses are like what 2,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So to remodel a house, it's gonna be not $1,000.
No.
It's gonna be more like $5,000 to $6,000 because you're gonna want to repaint the cabinets, repaint the whole house, and there's gonna be a bunch of repairs on it. Versus a little apartment, 500 square foot apartment,
Yeah.
you're just gonna touch up paint. Floor for 500 square feet is what, $1,000, if that.
Well, that's
And
pretty
you don't
much
have
the
to really
contractor
put
or the
too
maintenance
many-
guy.
Exactly. Or you have your maintenance guy just
Yeah.
go and paint it and
Mhm.
do little stuff, and it's
Yeah.
not going to cost you as much as like a house. A
Right.
house right now, the houses that I vacated 4 of my houses, we're remodeling 2 of them. I'm spending about 25,000.
Yeah.
Put new floors, paint it,
Mhm.
and the cabinets, and it's like, wow. Imagine if I had to do that every time somebody leaves, like
Right.
versus a little apartment,
Yeah.
700 square foot apartment. Let's say it's gonna cost me a guy's work, like let's say 4 days of work,
Mhm.
which is gonna be less than $1,000
Yeah.
for me,
Mhm.
and plus materials.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I believe in multifamily. The only thing that sucks right now is that there's not a lot of deals.
Right.
Sorry.
Well, it's a reality, right? There's not a lot of deals right
It
now. There's
doesn't
not a
sound
lot
like
of deal flow.
doesn't sound like you guys are short of change on deals though.
I know, but that's because we're on top of things. Like
Yeah.
you said, we're out there hustling,
Yeah.
and doing
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
He has that song every morning, every day. I'm
Hustling.
hustling.
So and that's the difference. If you're out there hustling, there's gonna be always deals.
Yeah.
But-
And I'm going to tell you something that's a little bit different. In a virtual world,
Mhm.
I'm still knocking. You know.
You are?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I'm still knocking.
Well, you're going straight to the source.
I'm going straight
But how do you
or
knock? Do you just go to the who's the owner of this building?
that's it. I mean, if I want it, I get it. Sorry, I get it.
Well, you could also a lot of times the way we find out is like if there's apartments that they're leasing, they put a number out there.
Yeah.
So
and
just
you
call them.
But
Yeah.
sometimes there's a barrier. Like the property manager will be like, "Oh, I don't want to give you."
Yeah.
something."
I always give them something.
We haggle them.
Yeah, man.
Something, something.
This is the
Then
secret.
you give me the
Yeah.
number, I'll give you $50.
Yeah.
Right now,
Yeah.
That's
cash
a good
out.
one.
Yeah, I'll
Cash
I'll
app.
pay up to $1,000 to get them
Oh,
on
damn.
the phone.
Hey,
And what do
I
they
was
do?
paying
So what about if
50.
they
Hey, I should pay 1,000. I was paying 50.
1,000?
I'll
Oh,
give-
but if
They
they
get
That's
them
what
on
it
the
said.
phone. Yeah, they get them on the phone. I'll give you
I'll pay them
$1,000
1,000
right
if they
now.
convince them to sell to me.
really,
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm gonna offer them a fucking offer they can't refuse, and they're not. They usually don't. Yeah. If I'm there and and I'm giving somebody, something, I'm gonna make it work for me. Especially if I'm gonna give up $1,000.
Yeah,
Hell yeah. I must really want it,
right.
and 9 times out of 10 I've gotten them.
wow.
Hey, that
I
night-
never thought about that.
She's at what is that? State 48 with the project with the manager guy.
Which one?
No, I'm saying that we're like when I want it, you're like, hey, you want to go to State 48?
No, I want it. No, I've only had one, and it was off of Lockwood. It was 8 units that I couldn't get. The price just
They're
didn't
saying
make
that
sense.
no se oye.
Huh?
Ray is saying que no se oye.
Really? Shit, I don't know what it is. I think. Can you hear me now, Ray? I don't know.
I think you gotta get
Can
it.
you hear me? Can you hear
I
me?
can't even see what mine says.
I'll hashtag the. I mean, I'm gonna share the video on here in a little bit, so that'll go. We always lose some type of signal.
Oh, okay.
We'll be cool. We'll be cool.
Something
Okay.
always doesn't work. It's okay.
Thank you, Junior. Junior said he can hear me now. Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry if you missed something, but I'll play the video later because I'm telling you, this is a plethora of information. You
Yeah,
really want
for
to
sure.
Yeah, but yeah. So I did have that one guy, and I did lose. I on that one I lost like $500. I got the owner on the phone, whatever. We just could not agree.
To price.
No.
Wow, that's a good strategy
Yeah.
for us. We never thought about that.
Yeah.
We're still market mostly to multifamily, and we know that it takes a while to close a deal.
Yeah.
It takes usually how long? Like about a year sometimes.
Yeah.
A year?
It don't
Sometimes
take that
a
long.
year.
Me and Andrea are like, come on.
Man.
Sometimes more.
Well, whenever we were the ones in the pandemic, that was one of the reasons why I kind of like pulled myself
Who that
away
is?
because I'm like, Jesus.
That's probably what it is. People keep calling.
It takes a while,
Yeah.
a while. It's
it
like,
does.
and then a lot of things can happen in that time.
In that time,
You know?
somebody else calls them.
Yeah. Yeah, my son.
Like,
Boris calls them like,
Yeah.
Boris's people are texting them. You're like, damn,
I'm
bro.
gonna have to hack Boris. It's live. I got a hacker. I got a hacker.
Bro, all
He's
his
on my
lines are
payroll.
coming out. They're coming to us.
Yeah. No, but
Yeah.
for real, it's competitive out there right now.
It
And it's
is.
really about building rapport with them.
Yeah.
If you have like, and I think what you're doing is pretty cool. It's pretty unique because you're going to them, and then usually the owners listen to the property manager.
Yeah.
So if you can get in their ear, you're kind of golden
Yeah.
because we've dealt with
Hey,
the
that's
property
it.
we got in Galveston.
Mhm.
The owner had the property manager do everything.
Yeah.
So we got in his ear
Mhm.
and we were able to get the property.
There you go.
So
And
nice.
that's how it works because 9 times out of 10, they have a property manager
They
because
have
they
a
want.
barrier. They don't
less
want to
stress.
listen to it. Yeah.
Then you're telling them, look, I'm going to buy it from you. And I always exercise the owner finance first, you know?
Oh, you do?
Yeah, first. And then I'll go the other way. Because sometimes you get properties with no interest.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, or 2%, you know? And
Yeah.
you're like, where do you get that?
Heck
you know?
yeah, I'd rather go that route.
No fees, no brokers, no nothing. You know, just let's do it. I'll give it to you tomorrow. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm going to send it to my title company and I can close in a week or two. If your title's clean. And they're like, really? The one thing I do is the first sign that there's a distressed owner, it's not the property, especially on big ones, is if they have a property manager. They don't want to be involved.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the first barrier. Second one is that's the first thing to look for. The second one is getting in their ear. Once you get in their ear, you know,
Plant the seed.
you plant the seed. You're not going to be doing repairs. You're just going to be getting your money, maybe even more.
You're not gonna deal with tenants.
Yeah, I'm going to keep your manager because sometimes people grow that connection to their managers. I'm looking at his wife like, right.
And he always
No.
looks at her like, you got that
You
down?
got that down?
You got that down?
Yeah, you know, so basically, you know, I'm willing to keep your manager because a lot of people, they don't leave their company.
They don't
because
want to leave the
feel-
manager.
and they don't want to leave their employees. I mean, I'm responsible for 95 people. That's
They're
95
paying for
families.
the families, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Sucks.
It's
so
important.
yeah. So I'm gonna take no burdens of taxes, no insurance. I'm paying everything. I'm just giving you your money like clockwork every month. Be my bank. Oh God, when you tell people be my bank, they're like,
They feel
I'm a
like I'm
bank.
a bad.
I'm a bank. You're worth more to me than Wells Fargo.
They go out that weekend and be like, bro, I'm a bank
I'm a
now.
bank. I'm a bank.
bank.
What you got?
I financed her. Like, hey, you sure did.
That's a
You
good
sure
one. I never
did.
thought about that.
Yeah.
I have one owner finance note,
hmm
and he proposed it. I
Yeah.
never proposed it, but I put 20,000 down for my office I have it right now,
Mhm.
and we have
Yeah.
it at 6.5. The interest I bought it for 700.
Wow.
But it's an office with 11 little houses on it. So
That's a
Jeez,
no-brainer.
that sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah.
but we're gonna try to do that. What you're saying, it's
Yeah.
it's a good idea.
No, it's a good idea. It's like my son. My son's a beast at it. I mean,
Yeah.
he's like, okay, I got, you know, because I had took some time off, and it was like
That's
Training.
how kind of you grew learning that. Like that's
Yeah.
what you pitched all the time to everybody,
Yeah.
which I think that's a freaking phenomenal way to do it because you're pretty much getting these houses sometimes no money down or
yeah,
A
zero
lot.
interest.
Well, some of the owners are distressed. They're like,
That's it.
deal with my problem.
Yeah,
I don't want to
yeah.
deal with it.
hmm
Yeah.
and a lot of people, I mean, if I wouldn't have the pool that I have, meaning my son in the electrical, the other one in the architectural, if I didn't have, pop them kids out right,
If I didn't
I
have my
would've been-
vision,
if
with
I didn't have a
the purpose
vision-
when I was gonna have the kids.
yeah, I probably would be a distressed landlord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. It's
Because
tough.
when COVID came through and all those people were not paying
Scary.
rents and all that stuff, thank God, I had, the stores, they were hot because everyone was at home,
Yeah.
fixing stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna need a yard now. We're gonna really use our yard now, so let's fix that
That
leaky
was
roof.
the pool,
you know?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
The pool came in.
Okay.
Yeah, all that
Damn
stuff.
kids.
Yeah, so it's like my rentals, they didn't go down because everybody still stayed there. I eventually got paid by some of these programs,
Yes, we did too.
but some of those programs didn't pay for our late fees.
Well, not just the late fees, but man.
Yeah, I mean some
Headaches,
people were
maintenance.
facing foreclosures, and now everybody's at home, so they see everything that's wrong, so they're calling the landlord, well, I ain't gonna pay you because this, and you're like,
100%.
you ain't paying anyway.
Yeah.
You're not paying anyway. But our stores just boom, they grew.
I was there.
Yeah, you
I
were
was
there.
there shopping.
He was shopping. Yeah, and so but I did learn one thing through COVID, and it was that if I didn't have that everyday income, and I tell Andre every day, because everybody wonders why I'm into so many different things, because it's not a pauper nor a scarce mentality. It's the truth.
It's the reality.
It's the reality. I don't even think if you have your first 5 deals, you should quit your job.
No way.
Keep residual money coming in.
Mhm.
Maybe go into a different field that is related to what you're going into, but keep something coming in. Keep
Yes.
your
Get
insurance.
that OnlyFans up.
I'm gonna start my own
Make sure you get that up and then start
Yeah,
doing
and then
deals.
start doing it, yeah.
I'm just-
Yeah, but you have to do it. I always preach on that. I preach on finances,
Yes.
getting your stuff in order, and insurance is real important. All that stuff. Why are you working so hard for all this stuff when somebody can trip and fall and come and just take it all? And they will try. They will
I've had
try.
that. We've been sued in
She's
the
going-
property, the 19 unit. We
Yeah.
got sued.
Oh, seriously?
No way.
We got sued,
From
yeah.
who? From one of the.
Somebody some of the sheetrock fell on somebody's head. They ended up giving them.
Damn, that
They ended
that
up
is
giving
something
them
to get
20K
Yeah.
insurance.
Yeah, but $20K for us,
It's not a lot, but for
it's
them,
not. No, it is a lot, because if we're only collecting
Sorry.
10%, if you're only collecting
Wrong.
10%,
Let me correct that.
that's a lot.
It is a lot of money, 20 grand.
It is a lot, because
Hey,
of the fact that if you're collecting 10%, you know what I'm saying, and you're keeping 10%, 200,000, 10% of 200,000 will be 2 million.
10% of
You're the numbers girl,
200,000
right?
is 20. It's 20,000.
No. On the reverse.
Yeah.
Oh, on the reverse.
On the reverse.
Okay,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
2 million.
Yeah,
So-
it is a lot.
So that's a $2 million future loss.
Yeah,
So that's on,
Well, and if
right? Oh wait, he said 20K.
I said 20K.
I thought
That's it.
200K.
No, 20K.
20. Okay, I was like, wait.
Now it's a math class.
Yeah, 20K. Okay,
Yeah, we
well there we
don't
go.
know.
20K
Take.
it wasn't that much. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying for that, because
Yeah.
it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it could have been it. Yeah.
But-
Damn, what the?
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute,
It would have cost you like probably $5K to get that replaced.
It was not
No.
the problem. It was the people wanted money. They
Yeah.
were distressed.
So they kind of just made it
They
happen on
they
their own.
sued me
Mhm.
and my business partner, and the insurance took care of it, and they hired an attorney.
Yeah,
and
so
did all
you're
that.
saying they can just do that and then
Yeah.
sue you?
People
Girl.
can sue you for anything.
The property on Samson, we just sold Samson.
Why aren't you selling me?
Well, it was out there.
She, Kaylin's always calling your husband.
Really? Oh my God. No, my God.
Hey, Mr. Franco, it's
Hey! I was like, okay, next time you get that head, it's Kaylin. No, but we finally sold it. But out of there's a little property right down the street. There was a lady that lived there, and then she went down the street to market.
Mhm.
Those houses are like not even 700
They're
square
tiny,
feet. The closet
Shotgun
is about
houses.
from here to here.
Yeah.
And she ended up suing us for throwing her stuff out. And yeah, because we didn't wait on the constable
writ, yeah.
on the writ. And I was like, well, she's gone, right? And she was gone. She was living somewhere else.
Damn.
And
They do
some
that.
of these tenants
We-
are savages.
they're professional.
Jesus.
They're
they're
professional
professional.
tenants.
We threw her shit out. And what happened? She said she had all kinds of
Yeah.
$500 shoes and coats
Oh,
and
They do
jackets.
that.
man.
Yeah, and I'm talking about
That's
18
another
years
side
ago.
business right there.
Yeah, about 18 years ago, she got $10,000. But
That's a
it was
lot.
the
10
attorneys.
years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago today, that's a lot, So that was attorneys' time because we couldn't even rent the apartment. We had to leave it like that
Yeah.
because and then
It
redo the
happened.
writ and redo everything. It was just
A nightmare.
a
Yeah.
mess.
That's why it's important to pick your location.
Yes.
Yeah,
And we're
yeah.
learning that the hard way.
Yeah,
But
Yeah, because he would pick
I
up
feel
anything
like,
anywhere.
you know what? You have to start in the hood.
you have to.
You have to start in the
have
hood. I
to.
know everybody talks shit about it, but that's where you're going to get a deal where you're going to be able to grow. Like
Mhm.
the property I bought in Vegas, it was
Yeah,
in the hood. It was like bad hood,
yeah,
but people still want to buy it there and they
Mhm.
still want to like invest there.
right.
So if you buy in a nice area and you buy in the heights, you're not going to have the money to put
No.
down payment.
Yeah, and
Those
there's not
are
going to be enough
expensive.
equity there
Yeah.
too.
To be able to buy it with no money down.
No,
To buy with no money down, you're going to buy in the hood.
yeah,
And then you transition into bigger deals later.
Yeah.
Like I started in the hood. Most of my properties are all in the hood,
They are.
Yeah.
and yours too.
Mhm.
Both of
Yeah,
ours
they
are in the
are.
hood.
yeah,
But what we're doing is, like I said, we're selling them.
yeah,
We're starting to sell them, and then
Mhm.
we're starting to like, all right, now we have this equity. Now we can buy. Let's buy in Galveston,
Yeah.
in a nicer
Nicer
part of
Airbnb
Galveston, where we don't have
stuff,
to
yeah.
buy like we don't have to worry about tenants, and the rents there are over $1,000 a month
Mhm.
versus
Six,
$700 a
seven,
month.
yeah,
So you get a better kind of tenant
mm-hmm.
versus this kind of tenant. So
Yeah.
it's like
yeah.
we tried Section A and it's
No,
a
it's a
pain,
pain,
man.
yeah,
You
yeah.
tried Section A too?
Mhm.
Oh
I
my
won't do it.
God. I don't think I'm gonna do it anymore.
I won't do it. They literally make you make your house brand new.
Yes, they do.
And
man.
and the person they still fall out. The tenants still fall out.
They do.
Yeah, and they're paying like $20 a month, and they don't want to pay. Mhm. Oh yeah, girl, I've seen.
Yeah, we try to transition right now. We had, like I said, we failed inspection twice already in one
Mhm.
property, and they're gonna come back Friday. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens. But they're tough, and that's why we're like, now that we've made a little bit of money, we're like, okay,
Yeah.
even if we leave
A
money in the
little bit.
deal,
Yeah.
we leave money in the deal, but we can get a better quality tenant.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, because I think in the beginning, starting off there, you're able to get a portfolio going,
Mhm.
and people aren't looking. Banks look at it like, ew, but investor lenders, they're like, okay, that's experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're still afloat in there, you're good. So and then you're able to get a lot of doors for less money. I look at it as doors now. I don't look at it as individual units. So it's just easier. Because if you say I have 5 properties, they're like, okay, you got 5 properties. And you go to the bank, you're like, I got 5 properties. They're like, okay, next.
Yeah.
But you tell them, I have, over so many rentals, and they're like, oh,
Mhm.
but there's still individual incomes
Right.
coming in.
Exactly.
So when you say it like that, then your foot's just sliding through the door.
Right.
But I don't deal with private banks that much. I don't.
You don't.
Mm-mm. No, they're much harder. I do a lot out in Georgia and Ohio. Different lenders out there.
Different than it'll look.
Mhm. Yeah, they're more open.
Well, the problem is they're not here.
They're not here.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're
That's
not
what I've
here.
noticed. That so my first, the second property I got in Vegas, nobody wanted to lend to me.
Mhm.
Nobody wanted to because I was like a rookie, and
Yeah.
I would call and call and call and call and call everybody in Nevada. Nobody wanted to lend me, and I finally called this one guy in Cali, and he lent me.
Yeah.
So it's like you know, when you have no experience, you got to be calling and calling
Yeah.
and calling and calling and calling
Mhm.
to someone who gives you the opportunity. And when they're outside of the state, they're not from that area, so they
Right.
don't really know the areas as
Mhm.
well as you call someone. Hey, I'm gonna buy an 026. They're like, I
yeah.
don't know, bro.
They kind of go based off the numbers.
They go off, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, everything's zip code now. They're like, oh, okay,
They
they know.
know the lenders here know. But
Yeah.
some lenders, like you said, if they know that you have experience in those
Mhm.
areas, they will lend to you.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of the lenders you use, I use the same
Mhm,
ones.
mhm.
And
Well, it's
They
now
really
they
know.
don't lend like in those areas that flooded. Some
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
lend there. Because I had some that they're like, no, we don't lend in that zip code.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
really?
been
Mhm.
staying away. I don't mess with Meyerland or Bracewood like
Mhm.
at all. And I get cheap stuff over there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
send them to me.
But okay. But they're still high. They're
Yeah.
high. But
Yeah.
I just don't mess with it. Mm-mm.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it floods a lot over there.
Yeah, well, it's inspections, it's timed, and it's a lot of stuff.
Well,
I
then the
did one,
insurance.
the insurance. I did one, and when the people start looking at their HUDs and what their closings and their lenders and what the insurance is, sometimes their insurance is almost like Galveston.
Galveston
It's high.
insurance is
Mhm.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's high. Kima, where I live, it's crazy. Everything's crazy. Yeah. I'm 14 feet in the air. I don't think I'm gonna fly.
Hey, Christina's way up there.
I'm way up here.
She's over
I
there
don't
with
think I'm a flood,
And it's still expensive
It's expensive. Yeah.
because you're in the flood. What?
Yeah, I'm right on the water. I'm right there. Yeah.
Oh, you pay a lot for TWIA or for both?
Both. You got to pay everything because depending on where you're at and what subdivisions, or wherever, they'll tell you have to. Yeah, because they'll be calling you. The county will be calling you.
Mhm.
You're not insured. You're about to lapse. Yeah, they call you. Like I don't know how they do it, but they do. I don't think they want to be dealing too much with FEMA either.
Yeah,
the
something happens in the
state,
future.
yeah. So they make
Yeah.
sure we're insured. Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what were you doing before you started all this stuff? And how did you get introduced to it?
So, my dad owned a landscaping company.
Okay.
I worked with him for a while, and then I started my own business out of landscaping, but it was miserable. I
Yeah.
didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I told my dad, I was like, I'm not gonna be here forever. Like he
Yeah.
wanted me to take over his business,
That's it.
and I
That's
was like, that's
the
how
dream
family
for
is.
the parents.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I
that's
was
their
like,
dream.
sorry, bro, but I don't want to be a gardener.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah,
I'd
Dad.
rather be an investor.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be honest, I never thought I would be where I'm at right now. I
Yeah.
thought it was just gonna be like, I was happy to make even 100,000 a year
Yeah.
and just like live a normal life and be humble. And,
Yeah.
But as you start connecting with new friends and they motivate you, and
Yeah.
you are around people who are better than you, and
Mhm.
that's why I say your friends are who you are.
Mhm.
If you hang out with
Never better.
losers-
They're always just connected differently.
Yeah, if
There you go.
you're-
They're
if
never better. No one's ever better than
no one is better.
Yeah.
but,
No.
but still,
Let me clarify that.
Yeah. Gangster Granny over here said no. Nobody's better than you, son. No.
no, but I still believe in that strongly because just hanging out with
Mhm.
friends that are going to motivate you, and you're around them, they're talking about business.
Right.
You guys are all talking business, and you come back and you're full of energy to grow, and then
Mhm.
you look back and you're like, oh damn, I did all this,
I
Right.
didn't even
and
realize
the
it.
4 years pass by, and you're like, oh damn.
Yeah.
Then you start seeing the rewards, and
Exactly.
But when you're just working and working and working, you just
Oh, hold up. Rewards. Baby life. He's got baby now. How did that come in?
Yes.
How did that play in?
it's awesome. I love being a dad now.
Do you ever go through the parental regret?
What do you mean?
Like when
How
we don't
long
have
are
that
you-
much time, like, oh my God, do I do this? How have you been diversing your time with
we
Like-
are
Ah.
we are parent cheaters. We have a nanny.
Okay, there you go.
There's no regret there.
No regret.
We have a nanny.
Uh-huh.
So
They do
luckily,
it smart, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome. I would do
takes
it that
care
way
of
too.
the baby.
Uh-huh.
Like right now, she's taking care of him,
Yeah,
and she stays with us like 5 days a week. And then whenever we want to go out,
yeah,
we'll just
that's
hire
amazing.
her.
Yeah,
And then when we went on a trip, my parents came.
yeah. See, that's the good life.
That
Is the balanced good
that
life.
is a good
I
life.
told it. I had to
He's
tote
like-
my kids everywhere. They lived in the back of the van, because things are so different.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, when you come to people like probably me, Ray Sasser, you know, Land, all those people that the older we had to do it very old school, very
I'm
different.
still doing it old school. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you know, but yeah, you know, we
Regarding
do it.
what?
The baby, the
Yeah,
nannies, and all
well,
that.
you didn't have it. The money wasn't the way it is now.
Mhm.
There weren't lenders. There wasn't, you
No,
know,
you're 100% right.
Yeah, there
LeBron
wasn't-
told me the same thing.
yeah, there wasn't other people money. There, you know, we were using our money and just gambling on it. You know,
Yeah.
putting 15,000 in a house was great, but collecting 230,
It's nothing.
400 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, on
Rents
Polk-
were like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Polk Street. I will always talk about Polk Street. I found my old receipt book, $239, and people were bitching back then.
Wow.
And this was in 90. You know.
Not right now.
No. Now they're up in, you know, 1,200, 1,300. But I had to live through that, you know. And the people that have lived through that, we look at you like y'all are the golden childs, you know.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, but there's so much more out there to offer. You know, this kind of stuff can take tolls on relationships, on
It
family
does.
time. That's where we lose.
Yeah.
You know, that's where we
Because
lose.
your time is you only have 24 hours.
24 hours. You
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
So you have to pick your time.
Yeah.
And we're trying to hire more people. It's really hard for us to let go of certain tasks. But
Yeah, you have
we've
to.
grown so much that we have to hire somebody, and I think she's starting Monday, and it's scary because, like, you know, like last time the pandemic hit, and then, you know, people stopped paying rent, but you still
Yeah.
got to pay the people.
You still got to pay the people.
So
and
it's
mortgage.
scary.
Yeah.
But what we've learned is, like, you know,
Well,
have
that's-
some savings,
Yeah,
Yeah.
reserves.
Mhm.
have
man.
reserves,
Yeah.
and then, you know, because the reality is, like,
That's
the
almost
pain will happen for like 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
And that's what we realize. Like, usually when something happens, what's going to happen is people are going to leave. You know how it is. They'll leave, and they'll just leave their houses, and they'll leave them there, and they can't pay the rent, they'll leave.
Yeah.
And then we go knock on doors. All right, clean it up, paint it, put it back on the market, and rent it. And in 4 months, everything will be all right. But
Right.
you need that money for the 4 months. You
Mhm.
need to have the reserves to pay, you know, the property managers to pay the maintenance, to bring it back up to market, of fucking rent it again.
Right. There you
And
go.
that costs money.
Yeah.
If you don't have money,
Yeah.
you're
But
screwed.
you millennials, y'all really amaze me. I'm so proud of the way y'all are, how y'all stay on top of things. And, you know, I'm a half a century. So it's like, you know,
have a century.
yeah, you know, from how do you know?
I'm 36.
Okay.
36.
See, so they're in their 30s. I'm in my 50s, and I've kind of, you know, well, not 50s. Okay, 50s. I just creeped in. All right, I'm brand new.
Right.
Not brand new. But the thing is,
Early 50s.
early 50s,
49 and a half.
49 and then a couple days ago. Yeah, but you know, as I'm creeping in, you know, 10, 15 years made a big difference.
It does.
Yeah, you know, virtual did go a long way, you know, and I see how some things, like what you were telling me earlier, I was like, okay. There's things, but I'm not closed-minded, and there's a lot of people.
You're not. You're like,
No.
learning a lot of it.
Well, that's how
Yeah.
you grow, because every year in real estate or
Mhm.
in any business, it's evolving. So you
Yeah.
have to, like, this year one thing will work,
Mhm.
and next year another thing's gonna
I
work.
agree
Yeah.
with
It's
that.
not gonna-
It's not gonna stay the
It's
same.
not gonna stay the same. So the people who are the best are the ones that adapt and grow
Yes.
and keep growing.
Yeah. And I just, you know, everybody's like, oh my God, you gotta change your, you know, your lifestyle, you gotta have fun, but you can't mentally in this business have a lot of fun when you know you have all this stress behind you. It's hard.
He doesn't seem to have a problem with
so
it.
what I do, I've learned, like, we went through that last
Come on,
year.
millennial, tell me the
We're-
secret.
No,
What's the
that-
secret?
it's-
What's the hangover?
It's
What's
just
the hang-
kind of just like taking it like a champ.
Yeah,
That's what it is, right? Like,
yeah.
Well, I think
Just
because he's a
mental
guy,
blocking.
I
Yeah.
feel like women
Women
we
worry
got the
more.
kids and all of that, and then we
Mhm.
got to worry about business.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
don't give you the
and,
credit,
and
I'm
if
kidding.
you hang out, like I said, if you hang out with people who are in similar situations, and, you know, I say this again, like, Boris has been one of my great mentors and my friend, you know, and
Mhm.
I see him, I call him, and he's like nothing.
Yeah.
He has we have 12 million in loans.
Yeah.
He probably has like 24 million in loans or 30 million in loans,
Yeah.
and he's like, And I'm like, damn, I don't know how he does it.
Yeah,
You know, like,
hey, boy.
But he's doing it.
but
He's
he's doing
doing
it.
it.
But yeah, it's the same thing with us. So I've learned like what I said, the 3-month pain, and that's where I go back to that. Like if you just go through those 3 months pain, then we're kind of going through that right now. We have
Yeah.
4 projects right now, and we had a certain amount of money in our bank, and we've been spending what like $30,000 a week
Yeah.
in just paying workers.
And these are real numbers. These are, they're real numbers. A lot of people, you know, they go spend $1,000 on a shopping spree, and
Yeah, I mean, but they're
30,000 is our
It's a
shopping
lot.
spree.
It's a lot, and it's stressful.
Yeah.
And you have to like this time we made a mistake and we didn't time the draw right.
Mm.
So we just got the draw today of 100,000,
Yeah.
but we're spending 30,000 a week.
Yeah.
So we're doing a 16 unit, 11 unit, and a 4 unit, and
Yeah.
full guts.
Yeah.
So it's like every week, every day, it's thousands of dollars being spent, and
Mhm.
it's scary because
Yeah.
then you're like, all right, now it's the first of the month, and on the first of the month they draw all the mortgages.
Yeah.
So we're talking about over 50,000 in mortgages. So it's like you have to prepare for that
Mhm.
mentally. You know, like try to do the mortgages on the 12th
Mhm.
or the 10th. That way you can collect rents to pay
Yeah.
all those mortgages.
Yeah.
It's scary.
You become a mathematician.
You do.
Yeah.
You have to. You have no
You
choice.
have to. You have no choice.
But
You
at
do.
the end of the day, it's still all good. And if I live by that, like right now, we're going through it right now. I'm not gonna deny it. We're going
Right.
through it right now.
Mhm.
But in 3 months, we're gonna look back and be like,
Yeah,
oh,
but
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
good going through it though.
Yeah, it's
Like,
a
it
good
is
go
because it's a
through.
growing
That's-
pain.
Yeah.
that is
If
a
you're
growing
not-
pain, and
Yeah, if you're not struggling, if you're not like challenging yourself,
Mhm.
you're not growing. You're just
Yeah.
stuck.
And if you can't share a horror story, you just haven't been through it.
No, man. We're
We
right
have
now.
them.
We are. It's
Yeah.
intense.
I've been there.
Going
I'm
through
there.
construction
I'm there.
is intense, and going through that growing pain of adding like another 70 units, like right now, like
Yeah.
70 more units, 70 more headaches, 70 more people that you got to deal with,
There
and
it is.
then it's the make readies, everything that you got to deal with. It's a lot, but at the end of the day, it's worth it.
it's
It is.
worth it.
It's
And you
100%
accustomed
worth
to it.
Yeah.
You get used to the
Like,
pressure
you get
of
used to the pressure.
handling that much pressure, and
Yeah.
that's what I feel like makes you better.
Mhm.
Because so next year, right now, we're going to handle our first 32 unit, which is our biggest one, but we already handled 19, we've handled 16, we've handled these projects that are,
Mhm.
and now they don't faze me anymore.
Yeah.
Like, all
Now
right,
he's ready for the 100
Yeah.
units.
I don't know if we're gonna get. We will more than likely we'll buy it.
Yeah.
But we want to. We need to be staffed right, and
Yeah.
that's where I think we're lacking. We're
Mhm.
lacking the staff to be able to actually grow more.
Yeah, and in everything, staff, when you're dealing with them, it can be your make and break.
It is.
It
If
is
you
your
have the
make and
right
break.
people, you're gonna grow. If you have the wrong people, you're gonna lose.
Or stay idle.
You can
Mhm.
lose. You can
Yeah.
lose. I've been in situations where my assistant left right when the pandemic hit. I had to let her go because I didn't have money to pay her,
Mhm.
and it was a mess. It
Mhm.
was the worst thing in the world that happened to me.
Right.
I was scrambling to find somebody, and that's when I turned to virtual.
Yeah.
I started because I couldn't afford to pay $4,000,
Mhm.
$3,000 a month. So I was like, let's go virtual, and I would pay a virtual assistant like $600
Right.
versus $3,000.
Yeah.
So that was a big difference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we went virtual.
And I
but
think that was
now
pretty smart too, because it's
Yeah.
you save yourself money too.
you do, but now we're so big that we have to have somebody here
Yeah.
that's running around, that's going to check the job sites, that's gonna take my job away and from me.
Take your
so I can-
headaches.
Yeah.
So I can, well, we can continue to grow.
Mhm.
How are you
Right.
going to grow if you're dealing with contractors and dealing with picking up sheetrock? Like I go and I see your people every day. Like
Yeah.
I'm going over there and ordering 100 sheets of sheetrock, picking it up in my truck, taking it over there, doing this, doing that. Like
Yeah.
instead of me focusing on what you're doing, I want to do. I'm going to copy you. I'm going to go and knock on the doors of the owners and talk
Yeah.
to the owners.
That's what it is.
That's where I'll make more money. Because
Yeah.
if I find one
Mhm.
deal, I'll make a 50
You'll
to
get them
100,000.
faster. You'll get them faster. You get more deals because everybody's telling me, how are you getting deals 60, 75? I get them. I don't know how y'all aren't. Like, Why?
I think your marketing strategy is very unique because
Yeah.
not everybody is doing that. And I'm door knocking. I have
Yeah.
another investor that I know that wholesales, and he does the same thing.
Yeah.
He's getting them.
Yeah.
He's getting the deals because he knows the town,
Mhm.
and he knows, like you're in the loop of what's going on in the little areas.
Yeah.
And everybody tells you, they'll be like,
Yeah.
hey, this
Yeah.
guy's losing his house. Go talk to him. And
Yeah.
that's what you need.
Yeah.
Some intel on people.
Another thing that has helped me a lot on some of these foreclosures and stuff is I offer the people to stay as renters.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, if they look good, when you walk in the house,
Yep.
I'll just create a loan, create the note and let them pay it. But they
Really?
feel like they don't have to shift. Yeah. So it's easier to get a loan on it for us because you got a renter. You got an income coming in. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Give them 3 months, no rent. I'll give you 10,000, 3 months, depending on where the markup is, where your numbers are. I'll give you 5,000, 3 months of rent, and you can stay. You ain't got to move. You ain't got to. When somebody has kids, it's hell to move them from schools,
That
and
is-
you're working, and you're going to lose all this time, and it works for me like that.
Nice.
And then I feel like that's how I feel I saved a family, letting them stay.
Well, that's good because already your target strategy. Like,
Yeah.
hey, they got a family. Give them that time.
And there's way less work in it. It's just create a loan, just to help them out, and it
Wow.
becomes yours, and they're still paying on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I don't feel very much on that. Yeah, and I still make money at the table.
Nice.
Mhm.
Congrats.
Yeah, yeah.
I need to get to that point.
Yeah, it's so, I love real estate in the sense
Yeah.
that you can do anything.
You can get so creative.
You can get so creative.
The only thing that I would emphasize for people who are wanting to start is what you said earlier. Like, keep your job. Don't
Yeah.
try to be this Superman that tries to
Mm-mm.
lose all 100% of his income and just go on it. I would, if you're that hungry, you can educate yourself in the mornings
Yep.
and during breaks, and that's what normal people do. They
Yeah.
don't I was cutting grass
Mhm.
and going to Vegas to work on properties. I
Yeah.
wasn't in the office all clean and
Mm-mm.
Or close that first
yeah,
deal. You're already rich.
yeah, I'm already rich. That doesn't exist.
I made it.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. It
Mhm.
takes time, and a lot
Yeah.
of people, they don't want to put the work in.
No.
And that's where I feel like a lot of, like you said, you are part of our generation, but there's
Yeah.
another side to our generation who they see Instagram and they see Facebook and they see us living, going on vacation, having new cars, doing this, doing that, but they don't
Mhm.
see what's behind the scene. They don't see
Right.
what the stress that comes with it,
Right.
the $50,000 in no payments every month, and the payroll. People are calling you, pay me, and you're like, oh damn, and all
Yeah.
the stress that
You're
comes
like, who's
behind it.
this?
Yeah.
You're like, do I know you? But
Let's
not.
speak in English.
Yeah.
But on the serious side, yeah, I feel like that's where people fail a lot,
Yeah.
and they get discouraged because
Mhm.
they they feel like they're just gonna come in and 1 month later they're gonna be
Well,
rich.
I
Yeah,
think when
no.
they feel like that, the
Mm-mm.
pressure is gonna go away at one point. It doesn't go
It
away.
never.
It goes higher.
Yeah.
Because
You just got bigger problems.
Yeah, the more you have, the more you're gonna have, more problems you're gonna have.
Mhm.
However, I will say this: you can get to a point, and I feel like you're there.
That's what I tell her too.
Yeah,
but she's
you're
like,
there,
"Ah."
and I might be there in a couple years. Is hiring a general manager
Yeah.
that can handle it, and then what I've thought about is hiring a third party accountant
Yes.
to actually oversee the people that are not in my company.
Mhm.
That way, they can tell me if somebody's stealing,
There you go.
if somebody's doing something wrong.
Mhm.
Because you can hire the general manager, and the general manager can still be and screw you.
Yep.
But if you hire a third party
Mhm.
accountant,
Your eyes.
they're your eyes on
Mhm.
top of
their
their
eyes.
eyes.
Yeah, because
That
once it
makes
becomes
sense.
a click, it becomes a mess.
Exactly.
It's a web.
It
It's a
is.
web. And
That's what I fear.
Yeah, and I don't like clicks. I mean, my husband gets mad at me when I see all the employees clicking, and even the employees are like, "What's wrong with her?" You're not here for that, and that's it. And so, and I say that openly, you know, we're all here to work because I would not work any less than you. You've seen me working.
Yeah, I know.
I'm out there in my tennis shoes and whatever, sunburn, whatever. But that's the reality of life. And sometimes, you know, people go to my store and they'll see me in the aisles just working, and they're like, "Why are you working?" Because I have to feel what they feel to be able to maneuver this business as if I were here.
Yeah.
I
Right.
stay in, I stay connected, and you have to stay. You know, what makes it different for my landscape guy? You know, maybe he shouldn't be here at 12 o'clock or 3 o'clock when the sun's beaming. Maybe he should be here at 6 in the morning. Who cares if he wakes up the people? You know, but I can't have him out there being burnt. You know,
Right.
yeah, yeah. He's like,
I think they're used to it. I
Yeah.
was used to it.
yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get used to it. It
Well,
doesn't
see,
matter.
that's why you have a very different view at what it is. And that's why you're making it, because you know how to work, you know how to sweat, and you put your sweat equity. People
Yeah.
don't know sweat equity anymore.
They don't.
They don't.
I do.
Mhm, they
Yeah,
don't.
a lot of people don't, and I think that's where a lot of people fail because they want like
Easy.
Jabron,
Freedom.
you know Jabron Hernandez from White Picket.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually,
he-
I did a deal with him once. Yeah, through somebody else. Yeah.
So he told me that he used to do education,
Mhm.
and a lot of people they would get mad at him,
Yeah.
and they would get mad at him because they weren't getting deals, and it's
Mhm.
like,
That's
bro,
what
you
we're
gotta
talking
work.
about.
It's not gonna
Well,
come
that's
to
what we
you.
were talking about. You know,
Yeah.
like a lot of people, like they want to do it, but they don't want to put in the
The
work
work.
to do
Yeah.
it.
It's like Andrea and I, we were talking about, you know, we're like, we want to build a team, we want to get a group, and you know, we sit and we mastermind between each other, like, do we really want the responsibility? I would rather take on somebody for their sweat equity than their
Right.
money. I don't
Exactly.
need your money.
Yeah.
I don't
I
even want
agree.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where the people who are hustlers who are good, they get rewarded because if
Mhm.
they can work for somebody like you who already made it
Yeah.
and they can prove themselves, they're gonna get in and
Yeah.
and do well.
Mhm.
But most people don't want to work, man. That's the
No,
reality. They
they
say
don't.
they do, but they don't.
Mm-mm.
Because when the work comes and the problems come and then the credit card bills come and everything comes and they're like,
Yeah. Oh my God.
They're
they don't know what to
paralyzed.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah, and a lot of
paralyzed.
people, that happens. That's where a lot of investors sell their deals again, or they start the flip and then they let it
Yeah.
go because they
Mhm.
don't finish it. They
Yeah.
can't handle the problems that come with it.
Yeah.
Because every flip, every multifamily, anything you're gonna do in real estate is gonna come with problems, and it's gonna happen. And it's how you deal with a problem
Mhm.
that's gonna actually make you or break you.
Right.
If you overcome it, you're gonna become a better.
Yeah.
And then the next time it happens to you, the problem, you're gonna be like, it's nothing. Let's just do it like this.
Yeah.
Forget about it. Let's not think about it. Let's continue.
Yeah, and
And-
I'm not a proud person. And a lot of these people are very pride and proudful, you know, prideful and proud, whatever. But they're like that. Like me, I will cut a yard. I'll go
me
unclog
too.
a toilet. I don't give a shit, you know, if it's going to advance things.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like last time, whenever I was at that appointment for like 2 hours, like
Yeah.
I don't need to do that, but I
Mm-mm.
did it because I'm
But
like,
you
that's
did it.
gonna bring in a deal. That's what
Yeah.
I'm gonna do.
Yeah, and that's why you're able to get so much further beyond, you
Gotta
know.
do whatever it takes.
Yeah, we become the little Buzz
Well,
Lightyear.
you know, that's what we were talking about. Like when we were if we want to work with anybody, it's like
Yeah.
you gotta work on their mindset first.
Yeah, we're more of the
Because-
mindset because we have to flow.
Yeah, like
because we're strong headed. We're okay. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's because they're too alpha." It doesn't matter. You can get along with an alpha person, but you just need to know everyone's role. You
mhm.
know, she has a different role than what I have, and we have this going, and we'll do deals, and we don't hardly talk during the week.
Mm-mm.
But when we're there, we're like, okay,
Yeah.
and we already know how our mind just collaborates together.
Mhm.
And for us to work with somebody, I'm like, Andrea, I don't feel like trying to help somebody become rich, or because in their head they're going to become rich. No, you're going to become, you know, financially stable, you know, because
Right.
I'm not rich. You know, I don't care. I'm equity well off, you know, but I'm not rich.
I'm equity rich.
Yeah, there's equity rich, you know.
She's equity rich.
Yeah,
guys. Don't let her fool you.
But I don't.
Paper rich.
Yeah, there's paper rich. I still look at $5 and $10, you know, very I value it. You know, I
Right.
really value it because I know
Para los chicles.
There you go. Yeah, para los chicles. Because I spend, but I probably spend more at a dollar store. But I know every time I spend my money, I know there's a forklift driver behind me. I know there's my sons. I know there's a lot behind it. So I'm not a splurgy type of person. We have our fun times, but I'm not the type of person to have a business and spend it all on me.
Right.
Make it all about me. Oh my God, pay camera people, pay, people do my hair. No, it's not like that. Even at my wedding, I did my own hair. It probably looked chopped, but it was okay. She said it looked chopped. But you have to realize you have to be able to put in your sweat equity,
and know how to manage the
and
money
know
as it's coming
how to
in.
manage, and
'Cause
don't.
a lot of people splurge and are like, that's one of the ways people fail is like they spend their money, and whenever he's saying those 3-4 months come in, bam.
Yeah, we went out, me and Boris, with some guy, and I can't say his name, but he's like,
Say
hey,
it.
he's like, hey, I'm out of real estate. And we're like, why? And he's like, I had a couple bad months and I couldn't do it anymore.
It can
And I'm
happen.
like, and then Boris told him, like, hey, you got to prepare for those.
Yeah.
Those 3 or 4 months, they're gonna have the
Yeah.
dry spell. You're gonna have that
Mhm.
dry time where you're like,
But
you're not gonna get any deals, and you're
Yeah.
gonna
Right.
have to pull
Yeah.
your savings.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You gotta be ready
happens.
for that.
Yeah.
But that happens in any business. That happens in my business too. We
Yeah.
got to be ready.
Yeah, and make that sacrifice, and you
Yeah.
gotta always remember, make that money. Don't let it make you. Yeah,
What
All
do you
right.
mean by that?
because people think, have you ever saw somebody like? I even look at TV, and I don't.
Well, their
I don't-
ego.
Their
It's
ego.
like their ego.
Yeah, their ego. It
money
makes them a
makes
different
more
person.
of what you are already. I
Yeah.
feel
Well,
like.
I still think it does change you to a
Yeah.
certain extent, because you start like, you make a lot of money, and then when
Well, I mean,
started,
it doesn't mean like you gotta still like do the same thing.
No,
But
not
I
be,
feel like,
not be. You gotta just
not-
be cautious.
like still like splurge, but I
Yeah.
feel like people whenever they look at other people different, like, oh, you're not there, or this, what I
Mhm.
mean?
oh yeah,
In
no,
that
no.
kind of way,
Or they overspend
But not like where
what
you
they
travel,
don't have. Driving the Lamborghini, and they
They
can't even
afford
make the payment. Or they'd rather pay the Lamborghini than the fucking child. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm a man hater. Than their child support. Than their child support.
Hey,
You know what I'm
who
saying?
do you want to call out?
No, I have good baby daddies.
Say it.
I had good,
I have good baby daddy.
Oh my
Yeah, no, but seriously, you just have to, you have to put your right parts into, your mind in the right place.
Yeah.
People get money, they start demeaning other people. I go to restaurants, I still clean my table. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, here you go. I always do that because sometimes it just might make somebody feel good.
Right.
That might be down, looking at you like, damn, look at her. And here,
Yeah.
it's being humble.
Yeah,
It-
very.
and my blessings don't come from the work that I do. It comes from the people that I help
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
make feel better. If you make somebody smile, God's going to definitely make you smile.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to keep that mentality. So that's where I say, make the money, don't let it make you.
Got it.
Yeah, and that's from the
Oh my
Players.
God, I got it.
That's from the Players Club.
Diamond.
The movie. Yeah, I watched that. But anyway, guys, we had a great.
Yeah, this was a great show.
Great show.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
Sure.
we really
Joining us.
appreciate you. You millennials.
Mm.
No, I mean, y'all are very smart. You put your work out there, you do your thing, and there's some people I agree with, but I love to follow you. There's others I like to follow, because they're really making a difference. You're very humble. There's people that I just don't like. I kind of like you, kid. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
And this is Jonathan Chacon. Y'all got some apartments or whatever, he buys.
Yes.
He's also hiring. So
And he's
we are
hiring
looking to
somebody with
get him the
experience.
opportunity.
Please do not waste his time. He's a new dad and everything. And, that's so important.
And he's taking applications for
And-
nannies.
No, he's not. He's not a good nanny.
I'm just
But you
kidding.
guys have a great day. Bye.